All right, we got a bit of a head start. We're doing the Hawaiian motocross Honda. Not sure if it's a team driver or just a cool sticker pack. But we're trying to somewhat mimic that on this truggy and buggy body. We've got a few more things over here. Cutting on the Cricut machine. We're cutting the Tekno logo for the truck. And some more sunsets for the buggy body. So stay tuned. All right, guys, I jumped a little bit ahead. I've been doing some masking off camera. We got pretty much everything that's going to be black on the body. All these flowers and leaves will be a color. If you've seen on the body in the picture of the bike, we're trying to mimic a wrap. And it has some, not really ghosted images, but the black, like vines and flowers and stuff in the background. We're going to add those with these. I just cut up and looked up some Hawaiian flowers on the Cricut machine and found something that sort of looked like what we were going for. It will be black around the sunset. This main stripe will be black. We're going to do black on the, I would say this is the bed, like a truck body. We're doing the bed and the truck in black. So the only thing we got left to do is add these down the sides, and then we can spray our teal color. And this is going to be a bit of a pain, especially on the truck body, because it's got a lot of features. And this vinyl is not very flexible around all these lines, so we most likely will be having to do some cleanup after the fact. But I'm going to have to make the teal color. We're just going to mix it up. It's going to be some blue, yellow, white. It's not too hard to mix. And then once we get that on there, we can start spraying the black. But anyway, so I'm going to blow just a little bit of that big bottle of blue we have, because it is similar to the teal. And I thought I was going to have to make the teal, but I actually have some. This is Fast Aqua from Parma. So no need to mix paint this time around. So we're going to jump right into it and spray a little bit of that blue just around the center of these flowers just to give it a little bit more 3D effect. And then we'll jump into the teal. All right, we are going to use both of our airbrushes tonight. The Mobius that was sent out to us a couple of weeks ago that we did a review on. I really like the way it sprays, so we'll do a little bit more complex paint job on this one than we did with the demo. So we'll test it out on some shading and stuff. But this is my tried and true. This is my Iwata, and we're going to use it because I already have the Mobius loaded up with the teal. I got that airbrush, or the air pressure turned way down, but it's working just fine because we just want a little bit of blue fade in the center of that flower. All right, pretty cool. Got to do the buggy body, and then we'll jump into the teal. All right, we got our blue on both bodies, and we're going to jump right into the teal. And yeah, here we go. All right, there is one on the truck. The truck's a little bit difficult because this area right here, the bed is so deep. So we're going to have to sneak up on that. You don't want to just kind of shove the paint down in there. We'll have to get different angles and try to get up in there. And also we're not trying to get heavy coats over all this masking because that will minimize our bleed through. So that's looking pretty close to that bike. I'm going to get these dry. I'll come back once I get it covered. We will back this with white before we try to spray anything else over it, because all these vines, everything that's in blue right here is going to be black. The sunrise, there will be, or sunset, there will be black all around it. This stripe will be solid black. So once we get that done, the basis of the body's there. The only thing we got left is, well, a lot, because we got to do fading on all these flowers, and we got to do the 3 or 4 shades of the sunset colors. So there's still a lot to do once we get the main body done. All right, guys, we got all the teal on, got it dry. And we're going to back it up with white just to give it some protection against the next color, which will be black. So we're going to probably just 2 coats of white, maybe just 1. I don't know, probably 2 light coats. Been checking our mask as we go. It's not coming up too bad, and it actually stays down a little bit better once you get a little heat on it. It gets more flexible. So we're not going to have to do a whole lot of cleanup, but yeah, let's get some white on here and go to the next step. All right, we're going to put one more on here. We'll get it dry, and when we come back, we'll have everything that's going to be black peeled out, and we'll start spraying that black. All right, guys, we got everything pulled out that's going to be black. That is our kind of vines and flowers, and went ahead and cut around the windows. That proved to be a little difficult. I couldn't see it. My eyesight's not the best, but we did manage to get it cut out. Looks pretty good. I am not a fan of Tekno's window mask. It's that real thick masking tape. Hopefully I didn't score the body too bad. I ended up having to replace some of it with some regular this gold mask because it's a lot easier to cut. But anyways, we got it all trimmed up and ready to spray some black. All right, for our black, we're using Wicked Black again. We picked up some more last week. I actually ran out. All right, there's one coat. We just lost a lot of our graphics because of the black vinyl, but all that's going to be pulled out and be different colors, so nothing to it. All right, we got all of our black on, and we pulled out our first graphic or flower. This one's going to be orange and yellow. We're going to use Parma Fast Color Fast Orange and some Wicked Yellow because that's what I have. Trying to do the same thing on both bodies. I could have went the extra mile and trimmed out this stem in the flower to make sure it stays separate because it kind of needs to be a different color, but we're going to try to just fade around it, and we'll work it out as we go because I want that stem to be majority white. So maybe I should have left it in there, but I didn't, so we're going to find a workaround. I don't need much. I just need just enough to separate it from the yellow. All right, that's all we're going to do right there. Hit 3 more times, and then we'll spray the yellow. All right, I did hit a little bit in the middle here to make it look like it's kind of give it that 3D effect. With a little bit of orange in the middle. We're staying away from the stem pretty good. All right, let's let that dry for just a minute and we'll go straight into yellow. All right, we're leaving that just a little bit wet and not completely dry, so the orange and yellow will kind of blend naturally together. This Wicked Yellow is just like any yellow. It's a little bit transparent, so it blends pretty easy. There you go. Check her out. Looking pretty good. I'm staying away from the tip. It might have a little yellow on it. That's fine. It'll have a natural little fade to white. Yeah, I think it's going to be just fine without cutting out the stem by itself. Yes, it would have been a little more detailed, but we're not going photorealistic here. We're just trying to mimic a wrap on a motorcycle. All right, there's our yellow flowers. I think what I'm going to do, we're far enough away. This is the next flower that's going to get painted. This is going to be like a magenta, purple, pink color. For some reason on the bike, these leaves are like a peach color. That might look weird, but that's kind of what's on the bike. Not sure what to do with this little vine down here. This gets painted too. But anyways, before I get sidetracked again, we're far enough away, and I got to back both of them in white. And while I'm at it, I need to spray the Tekno in white. So with keeping in combining steps, we're going to be careful, try not to get any of the pink over here. Go ahead and spray this flower, and once that's ready to back up, we'll pull this out and spray all of it white at the same time. And then we'll decipher what we're going to do with these last two colored vine graphics. So then we'll go on to the sunset and we'll be wrapping this thing up. All right, we got our big flower pulled out. This is going to be the magenta and pink color one. We're going to start with a raspberry, Createx raspberry, and then finish it off with a fast color fluorescent pink. Trying to stay away from some of the colors that are going to be in the sunset, but kind of can't help it, but because they're going to be purple to yellow and everything in between. So let's get this one sprayed, and then we'll pull out our Tekno and spray everything with white. And then I got to figure out what to do with these leaves. And last is the big one, the sunset. So let's get some magenta on here and quit talking about it. Raspberry. Again, just like with the orange, we're just going to hit the tips of the petals. And a little bit in the center. Like so. Got a little oversprayer here. We're going to clean that out with our cuticle stick. I just happened to see that. A little bit of green blow through. Amazing that I saw that, because I can't hardly see anymore. Yeah. Alright. Now we're ready to do that again. Alrighty. There's our beginning of the pink flower. This looks really pink. So we're going to get this dry and put another coat on to get it more magenta colored or raspberry. That way you'll see a difference between the pink and the outer edges of the petals there. So we'll get that dry, put another coat on, and we'll come back once we start spraying the pink. Alright, we got our raspberry on and getting ready to spray the pink. And it's still looking a little on the pink side. It's got the darker edges. I want to make sure that there's enough difference between the two colors. So I added a little bit of white to the fluorescent pink and made this really cool bubblegum color. And I may use that again in the future on something that's super bright. So just to reassure that we're going to be enough difference there, we'll just lighten it up a little bit. Oh yeah, that helped. It should actually help with coverage too, because of the white being in there. It's adding some opacity to it, or opacity, I'm not sure how you say that, making it more opaque. So that makes it a little bit quicker coverage. All right, it's looking good. I'm going to get this dry, and then I'm going to pull out our Tekno logo. We'll spray our white, and then we will move on to these leaves out here, and soon to be on the sunset. We got the pink dried up. We got our Tekno pulled out, and we cut that on the Cricut machine. I need to go over how to do that. Simple down, we're just going to back everything with white, using our opaque white. And then on to the next step. This is definitely a process, and the process requires patience and time, because this has been a long, drawn out body. I've been working on this thing off and on for about 3 days now. So just had to think about how to mimic the wrap onto an RC body, and it's difficult when you're trying to do it manually. There we go. There's one coat, looking pretty good. We'll jump onto this one. We'll get it dry, and then trying to think of what we need to do next, color-wise, because the wrap, the big leaf at the back is like a peach color, and that just seems odd, but I may do it anyways. And we might do this little vine thing here like a light mint green. We don't want it to be too green to blend into the teal. So it needs to be brighter green, like a minty color. So that's probably what we're going to do. And yeah, we're troubleshooting as we go. We sort of have a plan this time, but not really. So there you go. Aloha. All right, guys, we're whipping up our peach color. I simply just added some wicked yellow to this pink and white mixture I already had, and it looks pretty peachy to me. I don't want it to be orange. I don't want it to be pink. I want it to be a unique color to that area, so it don't look like I just kind of sprayed it all at the same time. That's quite peachy. Don't look at this part. Look at that part. So I think we're going to go with that. That's going to spray this slightly lighter than it looks because it's still kind of neon-y and transparent. But I think that'll work. All right, on to our little peachy mixture here. We're going to be really careful not to get near the Tekno logo because I didn't back it up with gray or anything. We don't want the peach to bleed into the white, so we're going to try to keep it small. There's your one peachy leaf. Looks like the picture on the bike, so I think we're going to get away with this with one coat. Well, one wet coat. I think that's going to be plenty. All right, I think that's enough. I don't think I'm going to be able to turn this into mint green, but we're going to mix up some mint green and spray this little vine here, and then it's sunset and unveil time. All right, mint green time. We're going to mix a little bit of white. I don't want to use our turquoise. Just a speck of blue and more yellow. Let's see what that does. If we're not careful, we end up with another teal color. How's that right there? Minty fresh. That's how quick it is. You just have to have somewhat of a understanding of how the color wheel works. There's our mint green, and we've got plenty to use. It don't take much. We just need like a half of a thimble full to paint this. So no need to make a bunch of it unless you plan on using it in the future. So let's get that masking pulled off and we'll spray the mint. All right, we got our cup loaded up with just a couple of drops of the mint green. Same deal, we're going to try to stay away from all these other colors so we don't get them blending together. A little test spray there before we go committing. There's our minty leaf. I think the same deal, we'll get away with basically one coat. It's almost white when you spray it, but if you put white beside it, you definitely see a distinct difference between the two. Oh, we left the pedal on there. It's hard to see because everything's black against the black vinyl. All right. We're going to clean that out and go ahead and spray this with white, back it up, back up the peach leaves. And then we're going to back everything with gray because we're going to get ready to spray this sunset. It's got several dark colors. Dark, I mean rich colors. And to prevent some bleed through, we're going to put some of this UVLS 4050 clear over everything before we spray the sunset, just to help with a bleed check. And yeah, and then we're done. All right, guys, we got all of our everything backed up with gray. We got our sunsets pulled out. We cleaned up a couple little areas that were had a little overspray come through with our cuticle stick. And we got both bodies ready to go. We're getting ready to make about 5 colors out of 3. We're going to start with purple. We're going to fade it into magenta or the raspberry that we used on the big flower, and then go straight into yellow. And then the natural blend of those colors mixing together is going to turn, we're going to have a purple into a darker magenta to a pink to yellow, and then that yellow up next to the pink will look orange. So we'll get 4 or 5 colors out of 3. So, but first, before we get started, we're going to put a coat of the 4050 UVLS clear. This helps with stuff bleeding together in the future, especially when you use like these fluorescent magentas and reds and stuff. They're really strong dye, and they will bleed into the yellow eventually. It may not do it today, but it will do it like over a long period of time, especially if you're in a high humidity area. Something about it until it gets cured. You'll have a bleeding or a wicking issue, and it'll start turning that yellow really orange. So protect the bleeding, we're going to do the 4050, and then yeah, we're ready to spray some colors. At least with the gloss, you can tell your paint's shiny, and that means it's wet. But it's going to stay shiny because it's glossy clear. I think we're ready for that. We'll let that dry for a minute, and then we're going to start putting our colors on. All right, we'll let our clear coat set up for a minute. It's still a little bit tacky. We're going to leave it that way. That way it's got a wet bed for, that's going to aid in our blending here. First things first, we're going to hit it with some Fast Essence purple because it's purple. The only purple I got. We're just hitting the tops of our sun here. Like so. Times 6. All right. We're going to let that dry for just a minute. Although our clear is still a little bit wet, that's fine. We're not going to let this get completely dry because we want this to blend together. And you got to be careful not to put it on too heavy, because if you do, you will make a mess. It will just kind of smear together. So time is kind of the essence here, to take your time and just let it do what it does naturally, and don't force it. All right, we got our purple on there. You got to be careful. I'm getting a little tight right here. We're going to run out of space for all the colors because this nose piece actually gets cut off. This goes in front of the shock tower. So be careful, leave yourself enough room for all the colors. So we're going to keep the raspberry to a minimum. Maybe a half a stripe worth. Like so. Getting our blend going now. All right. We're going to leave that alone because we're going to run out of space if we keep going. That's enough pink. Just a little bit right here. Yeah, we're going to run out of space. Next, we're going to hit straight the yellow. Yellow from there up. And where this pink and the yellow are going to meet, will turn naturally pink, turn orange. So we'll get that third color out of that. And yeah, she's looking pretty cool. Can't wait to unveil it. All right, we got that dried about 90%. There's still some wet spots. We want to leave it that way so it'll blend together nice. And again, light coats, be careful. We left the second coat light. Or left it wet. You still got to go light coats because you don't want this to turn into a cracked up mess if you just keep piling wet on wet. That will make a mess. I got a brand new bottle of Createx fluorescent yellow here. And that should naturally turn this pink into orange and still have a tinge of a yellow at the bottom. There you go. There's your orange between the pink and the purple. I'm being careful not to spray completely over the magenta with the yellow, because I don't want the whole thing to turn orange, and there's a chance it could. It would be obviously it'd be a darker orange towards the top, but we're trying to keep it to a minimum. That way we have our natural gradual fade there. All right, we still had plenty of room. We were running out of room, but we squeezed it in there. I'm going to get this dry. I'm going to put one more coat of yellow on. I'm going to back it up. Don't need to show that. So we're going to back it up with white because it's all neon colors. And then it's unveil time. Double unveil. All right, guys. Hope you can hear me okay. It's just started pouring rain outside. But yeah, we are wrapped up with the Hawaiian motorcycle motocross theme bike paint scheme. We tried to mimic the wrap the best we could. That's very difficult to do it in paint. Probably spent more time doing research the last couple of days trying to figure out what to use and how to use it. But we made all this stuff on the Cricut machine, and it was relatively simple, yet kind of works on your mind trying to how to do the layers. But that's enough talking. Always the most satisfying part of painting your RC body is removing this film and revealing all of your hard work. And we have had about 3 days of work in these bodies, just off and on. Made my brain hurt a little bit, but I think it turned out pretty awesome. And kapowie! Check it out. There's our Hawaiian theme bike, body, car, truck. This is the new truggy body. If I was to do anything different, a few things, but I think definitely this window mask, not a fan of it. It's like the Kyosho Beetle mask we used the other day. It's really thick and it sticks really good. I mean, it works fine, but it's just difficult to cut when if you're going to do window trim like we did. If I was to do anything different, I would have added a little bit more to it, but I had to cut myself off because it would have took another couple hours. But I think it would have looked awesome if we would have put bamboo on the roof. Even if we just outlined the roof in bamboo. It'd be hard to do in the bed because of the ridges, but I guarantee there's some bamboo font style stuff on the Cricut machine, and we could have done a bamboo sliding ragtop style thing on the roof, and that would have been pretty awesome. So check it out. I think it turned out really good, and stay tuned for part 2. We got another one, and this is satisfying because we wrapped up 2 together. And sometimes you can paint 2 as fast as you can paint 1 if you're doing the same colors. It's just the masking takes twice as long. Painting, you save time on painting. You don't save time on taping it up because it's 2 different animals here doing a truggy and a buggy. And kapowie 2.0. This one doesn't have any logos on it. This one is an associated car. He didn't want associated on it for whatever reason, but we did the Tekno on the Tekno. This is a J Concepts body. It has vinyl window masks. They are definitely easier to cut if you're going to do your window trim like we did. I had a hard time doing it just because I have a hard time seeing inside these bodies. With that, let me get me some stronger glasses. But yeah, I think they turned out pretty cool. Looks like a Hawaiian t-shirt and postcard all in one. Alright guys, that's a wrap for today's video. I appreciate you hanging out with me while we painted a couple bodies here. Wednesday update video. We got a lot going on. We're going to try something I've never done before ever, so tune in for that. And we got some updates on the sand car, and we got the build here behind us we need to wrap up. No painting on this one yet, and but we'll have it built by Wednesday hopefully. And yeah, check out the links below if you need some cool stickers or some shirts or hoodies. Still a little cool in some places out there. got a couple new designs. Thinking about a new design, hopefully for the summertime. So we'll let you know as soon as that happens. But anyways, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you Wednesday with our update. And hit that subscribe. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. And we'll see you then. Thanks.